Happy hump day, everybody. It is the Daily Show presented right here on Bowlers Network. Thank you to our sponsor, which is the Farmers Union Insurance. We appreciate you taking time to be a part of everything bowling. We're going to get right to it, guys. Come on in, Jay. Come on in, Zach. We're going to get right to it. I want to recap something we talked about on Monday. College bowling. I just want we want one short comment from each of you on this. Strongest programs that have been talked about, if you Google or AI, I should say, Wichita, Vanderbilt, University of Nebraska, Arkansas State, Louisiana Tech, NCAA programs, clubs and competitive programs. Weber, which now only has a men's team, Robert Morris, Mount Mercy, Purdue Global, Central Missouri. New rankings out. And I'm going to pull that up. New rankings are out. And heading the NCAA is Jacksonville State, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Wichita, Louisiana Tech, Nebraska. So right there, they have 5 out of the 6, which Louisiana Tech as well is a great university. We talked about education over bowling or bowling over education. Just a quick update on have your views changed as this power ranking has come out where we see strong schools in both education and bowling. Zach, you go first.
No, that's good. That's exactly what you want for a lot of your big college sports. It's in every other college sport. So I'm glad bowling on this side, at least, I think that's mainly the women's side, that the really good education colleges are also have great programs in the bowling realm, because if you're going to a school for bowling, the odds of making it pro are very, very slim. And a lot of the time, a lot of pro bowlers aren't making a crazy amount of money. So having that education background is always a necessity.
Jay, your take.
Oh, I agree with Zach. I can't, having that, the rankings like it is coming out, I like it. I have to give kudos, and I want to, I guess say I know you being a Vanderbilt mom, right? We want to we want to say that Vanderbilt's going to have what Shannon is doing in Jacksonville State. I think is awesome, and I know she's building a culture, not just a program. So I think those are the two that are going to stand out in my mind.
And the other part of it is I just want to emphasize how strong NCAA bowling at all the divisions are getting, because you have Sacred Heart, North Carolina A&T, McKendree, Sam Houston, Newman, Mount St. Mary, and Tulane, all within the top 16, where years ago you had your 5 teams. I mean, the depth is getting a lot deeper. Duquesne coming in at 22nd, truly building their team. And then Youngstown building from scratch, losing so many seniors. So just wanted to give a quick update on the NCAA. We will update NAIA and club and USBC collegiate next week. All right, guys, on to this week's chat. The PBA getting ready to take the lanes next week. And again, the biggest topic is this: two-handers versus one-handers, and what are we going to see in 2026? 2 stats I want to throw out to you. When I went to the PBA website, 11 out of the top 16 were two-handed, and then we had, I believe, 1 palm bowler and 1 half thumb. I kind of put them in the two-handed category, okay? I reached out to Tom Clark. Out of the top 40, 16 out of 40 are two-handed. What are we truly looking at for 2026? You start, Jay.
Well, I forget now. Someone going to have to remind me. Who's number 1 in the world? And I don't remember if he throws one or two-handed. Someone remind me. Of course, that's rhetorical. Yeah. So I think with the changes, and I know some of the reasons, and talking with with Chad Murphy, and also having a nice conversation with Tom as to why they made the change with urethane. All right. I think that change is going to even things out a little bit more this year. And it's going to allow, some people, because high rev players, the reason they went in a short story, the reason they made the change, from the urethane, while 78 hard urethane, but is you had a real concentration of winners because the two-handed power players had such an advantage over the traditional one-handers, right? So I think that is going to maybe open it up a little bit more this year. So I think one-handers are going to have a little more of a resurgence than maybe we think.
I like that. I like the way you said that. But I think, let's be realistic here, and we can debate this because there's two sides to every coin, right? I think the companies are becoming very aware of the urethane issue and trying to combat that in regulatory ways. So let's go on a limb, and all companies wind up coming around, and new technologies are always coming about. Zach, what is your take? When looking at the patterns, again, you don't know how they're going to play. Surface dictates, topography dictates. There's just so many factors. What oil are they using? Um, do you think, knowing, taking a look at those patterns, is urethane going to be a big factor this year? Or do you think we're going to see a lot more reactive?
Oh yeah, urethane's still going to be the #1 factor in the PBA this year, minus the Masters and the Open, the U.S. Open and USBC Masters. There's going to be 0 urethane, so those patterns will be really interesting. And in that sense, I agree with Jay that you're going to see a lot more one-handers rise to the top. But yeah, to put it simply, the high rev rates are way better with urethane than anyone with a low rev rate, because with urethane, you're going to leave a lot more corner pins. You have a lot less entry angle. Those high rev rates can splash more pins around, get a lot more of that pin action. They're carrying that extra 10 pin, carrying that extra 7 pin. And this year, because the PBA doesn't have any urethane changes, you can still use the IQ 78. You can still use the Black Hammer. Brunswick actually came out with more 78 hardness bowling balls. I still see the two-handers crushing it this year and urethane being massive. Now, depending on what happens in the coming years, if there is a full ban on urethane, then I think we're going to see everything go back to about 12 to 15-ish years ago, when there was a lot less power players that were dominating everything. But right now, I mean, a 425 rev rate is low for the PBA this year, just because if you don't have that, it's very hard to keep up.
I agree with you. 425. I mean, if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, wow, if you were talking about a scratch tournament or league. When you're talking about tour now, I mean, the men have to be well over 500, 550. And the women alone are now creeping up into that 425 range and above. So it makes a huge difference. Jay, I want you to discuss your thoughts on something just a little bit different dealing with the urethane. What do you see as the difference if they were bowling on string pins as versus traditional? Would it be a factor?
Oh, 100%. And I know that we have a really nice house in our area that went to string pins. And from what your entry angle on string pins is everything. You don't get as many 10-pin messengers or corner pin, rather, messengers that you find in the free fall. So rev rate, of course, it still matters, but it matters maybe a little bit less than it does on free fall. Entry angle and precision mean more than anything, again, on string pins.
Oh, I like that take on it, precision. I recall EJ Tackett making a comment about he practiced so much on string pins, he thought it helped him to be so much more in the pocket, and it made him a little bit more precise, or knew what he had to do with his angles to increase his carry. And it obviously it's worked. We can't, I mean, my God, proof is in the pudding, right? I mean, give me a break, right? Now that we've talked about that a little bit, I don't know. We've talked about front runners, how things will be changing. I see that there's a lot on social media with Jason Belmonte. He's been posting a lot about people don't have faith in him, or still there are the haters out there, which, look, you're not going to like everybody. I get it. I wouldn't say haters. I don't want to say anybody hates, but I guess people who doubt. what Jason Belmonte is absolutely capable of. His statistics speak for themselves. Do we expect Jason this year, with all of the social media coming out, his new thought process? I don't know. Is he going to be a front runner this year in 2026? What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, Jason's been odd on social media. I'll admit that. I don't know if he's creating these haters, but every Jason Belmonte post since last July when his last bowling ball came out has been about haters, which is a little odd. But it might just be his way to try to create situations where he needs to overcome them. So that's awesome. Jason hasn't fallen off at all. The only reason that the public thinks that is because he's not on TV every week and he's beatable on TV. A lot of these guys aren't scared of Jason as they were 5 to 10 years ago. They're more scared of EJ because he's been absolutely crushing it. So will Jason have a great year? Yes, absolutely. He'll probably be a top 5 player, maybe a top 3 player. It's hard to predict if he's going to be number 1 or not, but he's going to be up there. He's still going to do incredible. I don't know if he's going to be able to do something dominant like EJ has done the last couple of years, because looking at the patterns a little further, listening to a few other guys who know the patterns better, there really aren't many changes from last year. And while Jason did fine in some situations, he really struggled on a couple of the patterns, and where EJ, with how the urethane carry down is now with the harder urethanes, creates a lot more hold for him than it does for a lot of other people. So I think Jason's going to have a great year. Long story short, just can he be the number 1? Maybe. Their proof will be in the pudding in the next couple of weeks. If he comes out firing in week 1, week 2, then we might be able to have some good conversations about it.
I don't ever I don't ever doubt Jason Belmonte. My God, I can't even say his name right. Jason Belmonte. Pure talent, changed the game. I personally think he changed the game, and I think it became so much bigger with what he did. So I hope, no one hates me for saying that, but I'm sorry. Proof is in the pudding. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? It's got to be the cold medicine. Has to be the cold medicine. Proof is in the pudding again. The guy stands behind what he says. He puts his shoes on when he gets on the lanes. It's all business. And face it, he has been dominant for years. Let's shift gears, though. Jay, my question to you is, looking at the list, we've got people like Jesper Svensson, Packy Hanrahan, we have Kyle Troop, we have Jacob Buttroff. You've got Anthony Simonson, all these other two-handers, and many more. Ryan Barnes. Do you think Dio Bernard or a Brandon Bonta, go back to one-handed, do you think any of them will be dominant this year in 2026 with this surge in two-handed bowling?
Well, Jacob being the one-handed in there that you'd mentioned, which he has the most unorthodox grip. I think two-handed is here to stay. Well, duh, I don't want to say here to stay, but I don't know that you're going to see a resurgence necessarily in one-handed over the two-handed. I think the power, and if you look at all the younger kids coming up too, right? I mean, the younger kids are throwing two-handed, and if I had to do it all over, no doubt I would be throwing two-handed. So I don't know that the one-handed is really going to be a resurgence. I think two-handed is here to. So. I know we have some clips in here of their releases and stuff. So, I don't know. Carolyn, I just think that you got to go with the two-handers. That's where the power is. That's where they get the pin action. Anyway.
Well, and we've got a lot, just to name a few. I mean, we've got Cameron Crowe, you've got Zach Wilkins, you've got Ryan Barnes, Packy, young players that by far, Eric Jones, Dio Bernard, Boog Kroll.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I mean, we're talking, they are
young.
young players where there's a part of me that feels as if they haven't even honed their skills yet. They've had some success, and some have had success on the amateur stage, Team USA. Others have had a mixture of both. But there's so many on this list that just have not yet, I think, even attempted to scratch the surface of their potential. So I really am looking forward to 2026 because I think this is going to be a resurgence year of some new names or names that we just grappled at. And now they're going to make more shows or be in the hunt more often. Zach, what's your take on that?
Yeah, the one tough thing with a lot of the guys you mentioned, they are very young, which means their bodies are still okay. The thing we've noticed the last couple of years is a lot more two-handers are having body issues. There's a lot more injuries going on. Jason went into the PBA season either last year or 2 years ago with an injury. Simo's had a bad back. A couple of the guys have had bad knees, bad wrists. The one thing you got to remember is the longevity of two-handers. We still are too new to the two-handed game to see, are there more injuries that come from it? Now, Jason's form is immaculate. It's going to be some of the best two-handed form you ever see compared to a lot of the other guys. It's a little more orthodox in some ways. So he's had a few less injuries and been able to make it to what, 40 now, right? He's 40, 41?
41.
Yeah, so I think this year, while we're going to see two-handers still reign supreme, no matter what. Last year was the stats were nuts. Don't really see many big changes unless urethane goes and or string pins make a bigger move on the scene. Otherwise, we're still going to see two-handers wipe the floor with people a lot of the time. But watch out for some of those injuries that happen with such a short season. We might not see anything crazy, but that is always a possibility with a lot of these two-handers getting to be 30, getting to be 32, 33, 34.
It's funny you say that
can
because
I ask a question, Carolyn?
Well,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead. Well, I was gonna actually throw it to you actually
Okay,
because
go
what
ahead.
I'd like to know is, you just saw a video of 3 different styles. Chris Vi, much more traditional. When you talk about a two-handed bowler, if you didn't know Chris Vi threw a two-handed, he looks pretty traditional going to the line. Simo, much lower to the line, uses a lot more body tilt. Jason Belmonte, a little more upright. Both, though, back injuries. Chris Vi, I don't know of very many injuries. Again, a little more traditional. What is your take on that follow-up from what Zach's analogy is?
Chris is, proverbial gym rat, right? So I think he does a good job of keeping himself in shape. I worry, to be honest, I don't know if we can pull up Simo's, thing again, that how low he is to the approach. You see Belmo almost looks like a one-hander there, right? When
Right.
you watch Simo here, he's so low to the ground that you almost have to think that the pressure points on the lead leg, right, and his lower back can't not catch up to him. I mean it. Yeah, I mean the biomechanics of that when he's that low again and on that lead leg, there's so much torque in there. I just got to think that at some point, yeah, he's under 30, but at some point that is going to catch up. I just can't help but believe that.
I agree with you on that, but I also agree with the fact of we definitely don't have enough research. I'm going to start to really get out there and kind of see if I can find more on it. But I really felt by 2026 I would be reading more. Even just if it's on social media or links to more things about two-handed bowling, both for men and women, because of how it impacts the body so much differently than a traditional bowler. Now, the traditional bowlers, as we know, Brad Angelo, a Sean Rash, even bringing stuff like a Ryan Schaefer, planters had some knee and hip issues, right? So traditional bowling has some injuries as well, but I would love some more research on just how much impact is put in certain parts of the body as a Belmo compared to a Simo, and a Simo and Belmo compared to a Chris Vi, right? Because their pressure points have to be just a little different just because of the way they get to the line. So I think that's something that we definitely need to, and I'm not sure who does that in bowling. I guess I would say USBC, and I'm sure Kegel does a lot of research. So I'd look forward to possibly reading more about that as we see more surge of the two-handed bowling. Let's shift just a little bit. We're still going to stay on PBA there, but let's shift just a little bit. Official announcement. Kyle Sherman is the guy. Kyle Sherman is the guy. And he seems pumped about it. He seems excited. I mean, it's just a different, a different direction. Let's discuss what we really think we're going to see with this part of the PBR commentary for two different people. Jay?
I actually talked to Kyle yesterday. I called him, and he was driving, had 5-hour drive in front of him, and so we talked for a good hour. And I was like, hey, what can you tell me? And he was excited. I told him, hey, I don't know if you saw the episode we were talking about you a couple weeks ago, and I said it's kind of weird that this is actually happening. So he's excited about it, and I asked, well, how does that work now? I mean, are you playing, not playing? And he's like, no, I'm playing. And he said, it's just if I happen to make the show, then they'll find someone else. If I don't make the show, then I'll be, commentary. I was like, so wait a minute, let me get this straight. You get to be on the show every week. And
I like that.
and I asked him, does that mean, Randy's no longer doing the color? And he said, yeah. So Randy's the way it sounded is Randy's gonna maintain doing the color for the stuff that might be on like CBS or things like that. But he said it's kind of common that when a new company comes in, they kind of want to put their own stamp on things and start over. And so, yeah, he's pretty excited.
I think it's going to be something different. I mean, I don't want to. Well, I don't think the old air was stale, but because I wanted to say a breath of fresh air. But I enjoyed the telecasts. I think it's going to be different. I'm looking forward to the different perspective that I think we'll get from a younger bowler, right? Somebody who's been, and here's what I do take from this as well. And Zach, you can elaborate. Kyle has battled some injuries. He has battled, trying to get to that top 10, top 5 tier level. Had a lot of ups and downs. Just he's battled a lot of things that I think will give him great perspective in speaking about other players. What do you feel about that, Zach?
No, absolutely. That's something that caused the Brad and Kyle channel to blow up and be as big as it is now, is people adore that inside look on the game. You don't get to see an inside look on professional sports very often, but when people make a documentary, they make videos on what's going on in the locker room or whatever it may be, people eat it up. So that's why the Brad and Kyle channel did so well. And now Kyle can bring that to the air, which is huge because he's already seen success on the social media side, which is its own video entertainment side. So now he can bring it to the TV entertainment side along with all of those younger fans that are going to recognize him. And a lot of people, like, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever it may be, like to listen to people that are closer to their age and have more of those shared experiences. So now Kyle's gone through the soft urethane era. He's gone through the hard urethane era. He's gone through college bowling. He's gone through the injuries, trying to be one of the best in the world. So now he can bring that compared to a look of what it was 20, 25 years ago when that was the case. So I think there's going to be just a ton of positives. The first couple of weeks might be a bit rocky. Jumping into that role is going to be tough, especially with very little practice. And I'm guessing there wasn't a crazy amount of practice, but that's going to be tough. But overall, it should be just an overall net positive for bowling.
Yes, and I'm going to go back to asking people, be kind, because it is not an easy job. I've done it for many years on ESPN and CBS Sports Network. And it's hard when you're trying to be positive and pumped and have somebody in your ears. So let's watch with an open mind and embrace this great change in bowling. Well, guys, we're out of time again. I mean, God, we just talk. I love it, love it, love it. We want to thank again you for joining us here on The Daily Show. focused here on Bowlers Network, where we bring all of bowling together. Wednesday, this is Wednesday. Friday, I'm already calling it, guys. We're going to talk ball dynamics and accessories. What do you put in that bowling ball to help you throw it the best you can be on the lane? Thanks for joining us. We will see you on Friday at 12 Central Time.